Andy Dalton continues to be a member of the Cincinnati Bengals. There was possible trade talk with the Chicago Bears. Didn't happen. There's been this lingering sense maybe the Patriots would get involved. They reportedly aren't interested. So he's still under contract for one more year in Cincinnati. And Zac Taylor, coach of the Bengals, said yesterday, every option is on the table out there. We're trying to put ourselves in the best position to make sure we're prepared for next season and we have the best assets we can. We think the world of Andy, obviously, it's just kind of a weekly process for us. Chris, they may have blown their window to trade this guy. I mean, who's going to take him at this point? For the same reason Cam Newton can't find a new home. I don't know who's standing at the front of the line saying we must have Andy Dalton and his $17 million salary in the final year of his contract.
No, absolutely not. Now, you know, they got a little wiggle room here. They don't have to trade him. They don't need to do that. You know, they with what does he, Mike, a little over $17 million as far as a cap hit? You know, they certainly can afford him and Joe Burrow being the #1 pick and not have to worry about that on your your team as far as ruining it with too much money allotted to the quarterback position. So it's not a desperation thing where they need to go, like, it's an obvious, oh, they're going to get rid of this guy. Yeah, they're going to get rid of this guy sometime within the next year. But I do think they can hang in there and hang on to him and keep him on the roster for training camp or an early season injury or something like that, to wait for a team to be a little bit more desperate. But you're right. I mean, as it stands right now, there's not a lot of spots. And I don't think there's going to be a huge market to get Cincinnati to bite on trading him to get what they want as far as draft assets or a trade that they feel comfortable with just shipping Andy Dalton out the door.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. And look, we made the argument in the past that the Panthers screwed Cam Newton by holding on to him as long as they did. I mean, the Bengals are holding on to Andy Dalton, and if they can't trade him, do they cut him loose and not pay him the $17? That's $17.5 million in cash that they're going to owe him this year. And we know the Bengals are extremely careful with money. Aren't they doing him wrong the same way that the Panthers did Cam Newton wrong, Chris?
Well, yeah, a little bit. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think it's different, though, a little bit with the #1 pick of the draft. And are they definitely taking the quarterback at this point? You know, are they going to trade out of the pick? I don't think any of that's going to happen. No, but I think it's a little different scenario with the Cam Newton thing. The Cam Newton thing was an injury. They obviously had plans to move on that way. And, Cam Newton's a little bit more of a special entity than Andy Dalton in general. So, yeah, I mean, I understand it's not the best for Andy Dalton, but it's a little different situation altogether. And, I think there's a real case you can make to go, Andy Dalton's, he could be our backup quarterback. And within that, he's got a great way about him. I know he's a good guy, a leader that way, to where he could help out a guy like Joe Burrow and really teach him how to be a pro and the nuances of the position and how to play quarterback in the NFL. I don't know. What do you think, Mike? I mean, I don't look at it as the same way as the Cam Newton situation.
Well, look, I look at it this way. You can build into the contract protections to prevent guys from being squatted on in the out years of their deals. You can have major roster bonuses come due in March. You can have guaranteed payments that vest in March. So it's a two-way street. And is it right to squat on a guy that you don't intend to keep? I don't know. But they have the right to do it. The Panthers had the right to do it with Cam Newton, and they did it. And the Bengals have the right to do it with Andy Dalton, and they are. I just think that it gets more and more awkward as more and more time passes. And once Joe Burrow is on the team, it's going to be difficult to justify just waiting and waiting for someone to say, we'll take Andy Dalton off your hands. I mean, really, at this point, who's going to trade for him? Who? Give me two teams that would be in the mix for Andy Dalton.
Give me one. No, there's not two teams. There's not. You're exactly right. What he's going to be viewed at right now more than anything, yeah, teams are going to want him to be released, hopefully, and then somebody's going to bring him in as a great insurance policy to go, all right, he's our backup quarterback. And if, our starter gets hurt, we got a guy we can depend on, and our team is not going to fall off at all. That's what Andy Dalton's going to be relegated to being if they just cut him loose. And I'm sure they don't want to cut him loose. I mean, yeah, I understand that. There is some value to the player. He's got more talent than people give him credit for. And, if you were looking for that bridge-type quarterback, he could do that. But even for that, there's just no spots right now in the NFL.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights From NBC Sports.